Hello and welcome to the channel. I am here for an album review for you guys. Now, if you're expecting this review to be super detailed and in-depth, you're probably going to be rather disappointed by this review because, well, for one, I'm not that good at music reviewing to begin with. And I do just want to make this a quick review, just give my overall thoughts of the album and just talk about it for a little bit. So yeah, let's go ahead and talk about this thing. So this is the new Sevendust album, Blood and Stone, and I gotta say right off the bat, I think it's a good album. Now, I don't think it's one of Sevendust's best albums, but it surely is a good album. Now, there is some really good songs on here, like Feel Like Going On, and even the singles, Dying to Live, Blood from a Stone. These are solid tracks, of course, and there's even a Soundgarden cover on here, which I think is just decent, though. Probably not going to have the strongest replay value, but yeah, there's a lot of great songs on this album. Now, I would say that this overall is a step down from their last album, All I See Is War. I don't know what it is about this new album, Blood and Stone, but I feel like it kind of is missing something. Like, that's what I feel like. I think, for one, the album is not very memorable. Like, you know, obviously this album has only been out for a little bit now, and I honestly don't remember much from the album. And that's kind of sad, to be honest. Now, the musicianship, the vocals, it's all there. It's Sevendust. It is a Sevendust album, you know? And I think everything about it, I mean, everything's there, but it just didn't captivate me the same way their last album did. As a matter of fact, their last album, All I See Is War, was actually the album that got me into the band. And I just kind of have this thought, like, okay, if Blood and Stone was my first Sevendust album, like, let's say it is my first, would I feel the same way about this album that I felt about All I See Is War whenever I first heard that album? Honestly, I don't know. I really don't know. So, with that being said, I do think that their last album is just a little bit better. Okay? But this new album is still pretty good, though. I think it's good, but it just is not as memorable, at least right now, as their last album. Now, of course, this is just an initial listen thing. Maybe, you know, it's probably one of those albums that you really have to let grow on you, I guess. It's one of those albums where you really have to keep giving chances to, and, you know, I'll continue to give it chances for sure. I think, you know, the album will slowly grow on me more. And I remember, you know, the rumors leading up to this album that it was supposed to be like early Sevendust, similar to Animosity and Seasons. And that's something I do want to go over. Is that what they were going for with this album? Is this album kind of like a return to the roots? I wouldn't say necessarily. Now, there is some songs on this album that you can tell, you know, they're kind of bringing in some of that nu metal element back into their sound, but it's not fully all there, if you know what I mean. It pretty much sounds like it's properly placed in the discography. Like, it does sound like it could be like a continuation after the last two albums, of course. So, I mean, I guess, you know, you got to give them points for the consistency, of course. But this album, Blood and Stone, it's a good album. Like I said, it's not one of Sevendust's best. I'd say their best album is easily their album Home. But and I also don't think that this album is as good as their last album. But it is still a good album, though. So, yeah. Like I said, I think it's one of those albums that you really got to continue to give chances to. It's like one of those albums. I wasn't really mind blown by the album, but I mean, it is a good album, though. I think it's, you know, pretty good. So, as a score, I'll have to either give this album probably either a 7.8 or an 8 out of 10. Somewhere around there, as far as my score goes, seems about right. So that's my review for Blood and Stone by Sevendust. I think it's a good album overall. Thanks for watching. Have a nice day and take care.